Triller.
What's good, player? What's good? What's good?
Welcome to the Norm Hyperbolic Podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. What's up? What's good? We hyped today. We're ready for this new episode.
Yeah, we're here to talk anime, video games, and movies. I am your host, X, also known as Young Morgan Freeman. With me, as always, is my co-host, Lewis.
Yo, it's your boy, Lewis. Sorry, I know last episode I said I was coming up with a name. Still nothing. Something's going to come up. I'm just waiting for that perfect dream where the name just hits me. You know what I mean? It's going to come naturally. It's going to come naturally.
All right, bet. Perfect. We'll be waiting for your prolific dream.
But what's good, bro? What's good, man?
Not much, bro. Just doing this podcast, bro.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I'm excited. I'm ready to dive in.
Got a heated debate today.
Ooh.
Subbed versus dubbed.
Damn. Yeah, that's a heated debate. I know. People feel very fondly about their sub episodes.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be surprised at my opinion about what's best.
Really? Yeah. Really? Oh, I'm surprised.
I think so.
I think there's a lot that goes into it, and I'm excited to jump into those facts.
Yeah,
because I do have a couple of theories that kind of and we did kind of talk about it in our first episode, right?
We talked about it, throughout
the episodes. We kind of mentioned it here and there, like a little sprinkle, a little salt and pepper here and there. But yeah, you're right. Anyways, but
so at the top of the video, I want to say, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a like. We're going to be going through subbed and dubbed, the pros and cons of each one, why your anime friends might be laughing at you because you watch anime and dubbed, and which animes are actually better dubbed over subbed, if there are any.
Yeah.
So
no, for sure. And not just a like, subscribe. We need those subscribers numbers to go up, you know.
Definitely.
And we appreciate the people that already watch us, are constantly listening to our stuff, the normies, you guys. So we appreciate you guys doing that for us. Yes. But let's get started with the episode, bro. Let's not delay it. You know what I mean? The people come here for one reason only.
Yes.
And it's to figure out what's the news.
The topic. And then for our dedicated fans, what we're reading, what we're watching, what we're playing at the tail end of the episode. There is going to be time codes below. So if you do want to skip the news, maybe you're watching this far in the future, you can skip to the meat and potatoes with the time codes. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I think we can put time codes in the podcast, but
just kind of scroll through and you'll get to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's
go. Last week's news today. This is where I'd enter the graphic. Last week's news today.
There you go.
Here it is.
Let me know.
So in the realm of anime, so Disney Plus is actually getting an exclusive anime on their streaming platform. I know that they were flirting with the idea of bringing anime into their library. Uh-huh. I don't know if you've seen Turning Red.
Yes. So the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that movie has a lot of anime in it, infused in with the Pixar style.
Yeah.
That, Pixar normally has, where it's Toy Story, even Cars, the different beasts, but they all kind of feel the same.
Of course.
Inside Out, anything like that. So this anime Ishura is some anime that's coming out. It already has manga chapters, but they've signed a deal with the house that's producing it. So it is going to drop on Disney Plus whenever it does come out. So
what is the anime going to be about?
So
they said anything
they have a trailer. They have a full trailer of the anime.
What is it called?
It's called Ashura. Ashura. So I'm gonna read it. Focusing on a world of supernatural that holds a medieval aesthetic, various heroes are attempting to battle in order to gain the title of true hero, following the demise of a major villain in the world.
That's interesting. That's interesting that Disney wants to dive into anime like that.
They want to get into everything,
of course.
As far as whenever they do
even
dub,
your mama draws. I said even your mama draws.
Disney, yeah, Mickey Mouse better watch out.
Hey man, he wants everything. He wants a little piece of everything.
So whenever an anime does get dubbed in English, Disney kind of not has an in, but what I've noticed when doing research for this episode is that a lot of the voice actors that do the dubbing of these animes are seasoned voice actors, and more than likely they have some ties to Disney or have worked in Disney. But I think it is just hard to be a voice actor and get work out there, I guess.
Now, this anime that they're gonna drop for Disney, is it gonna be, since we're talking about voice actors, is it gonna be like Japanese people doing the original voice acting, or is
No.
they're just gonna straight up doing English?
They're gonna be doing the
in
dub.
English.
They're doing both. So there is gonna have a sub because the anime is coming out regular.
Okay.
But what might happen is, which often does happen, is that they might drop the sub and the dub at the same time.
Okay.
So, obviously, people who have Disney Plus, and I say obviously, but people who have Disney Plus might go for it, or it might be defaulted in dubbed.
Yeah.
But you can turn on the sub
Sub.
version, or they might have it subbed, and then you have to turn on dubbed, whatever it is. But it is coming to Disney Plus.
Okay.
I did check it out. I'll send it to you in the video version.
What'd you think of the trailer? Did you see the trailer?
Yeah,
It look good?
It's pretty good.
I have to check it
It
out.
looked pretty dope.
Okay. Something to look forward to then.
The trailer isn't even subbed yet. Like the trailer.
The trailer was dubbed?
The trailer,
Like English?
no, not even dubbed, bro. The trailer is just in his original voice,
But what is the original voice? English?
Japanese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Oh, so that's cool.
It's-
That's what I'm trying to say.
it's on
like-
Twitter. So what happened is they came out with a trailer for this thing, and then they tagged in like the credits that Disney Plus was going to be getting like a piece of this.
Okay.
So it's an exclusive streaming deal with Disney Plus with this anime that's coming out. The way Disney describes it is, in a world where the Demon King has died, a host of demigods capable of felling him have inherited the world. A master fencer who can figure out how to take out their opponents with a single glance. A lancer so swift they can break the sound barrier. A wyvern rogue who fights with 3 legendary weapons at once. So a wyvern is like a type of dragon.
Okay.
It's a type of like lizardy kind of dragon. So one of the weapons that he fights with is a shotgun.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
cool.
a dragon with a shotgun. An all-powerful wizard who can speak thoughts into being. So, your standard wizard. An angelic assassin who deals instant death. Eager to attain the title of true hero, these companions each pursue challenges against formidable foes and spark conflicts among themselves. The battle to determine the mightiest of the mighty begins.
Cool.
It does look pretty cool. It looks, whenever they do like an anime movie, I'm excited about like the type of animation that's going to go into the movie. It's always like really crisp. Every time they come out with a show, like I'm interested in the story and how long they can push it or whatever. But usually movies have more budget and more of a production behind them. So even with the animation, you can kind of see that. So I'm excited to see this.
Yeah. No, man, it sounds interesting. The whole Disney being a part of it and backing it up. So
Yeah,
we'll see what they do with it.
we'll see. So the next in the realm of video games. So I know we were talking about The Last of Us, the last episode.
Like the show, the game.
We were talking about how, because the last episode we were talking about, for those listening, we talked about live action adaptations. Or no, two episodes ago.
2 episodes. Yeah, that was the last one we talked about was hip hop.
right. But about how they're making anime and video games into movies.
Yeah.
So The Last of Us, was one of those new video game shows that came out that was actually really, really good.
Yes.
So, and it was good because it was staying true to the story, kind of like just follow the story, not beat for beat, but there is like, I've seen comparisons of like shot for shot.
Yeah.
Like even the dialogue is the same.
Yeah.
As it is in the
They
game.
try to keep it the same as much as possible, but not like, because there's certain things that, like I said, like won't translate well from a video game to a movie. So there's certain things that they just have to like skip or take out.
Well, a lot of the
just to
video
make
game elements, like, pass me that ladder, or, or having a problem
the little
solve.
things. Like the problem
Even though
solving.
there is a little bit in the first couple episodes, but then they get away from it.
Yeah, so it's more like just the main, the meat and potatoes of the actual video game, without the little tiny things or like the little side missions or whatever that you would do in a video game. But like you said, it's been keeping
it stayed true to the way it is in the video game. So
and it's been good. Have you watched any episodes yet?
I've seen like the first episode, and then I was just like, well, this is like just the show, or the movie, or the video game. The video game, because I've played that video games like twice over. So, and then when we go into like what we're reading while we're watching, what we're playing, we're actually playing it again as a family. Like they're watching me play it and we play it together or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So, it is a different way to enjoy the story, but the video game is very cinematic.
Oh.
So it also takes it a step further because in the latest episode, the voice actors who voiced both like Joel and Ellie were actually in the show.
Yes. Yeah. I did notice that they were in the show, but that's pretty cool actually.
Right?
So they're they're adding to it. So people that are like diehard The Last of Us fans, they were probably excited to see like the actual voice actors for these characters to be in the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a little treat.
A little Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if if you're a real big fan of the video game, there was a lot of acting that went into making this game. So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I think even with the game, it gives you a little bit of that. So it was pretty cool to see the voice actors, 2 characters for both Joel and Ellie be in the show.
Yeah. No, that's dope.
That was in the most recent episode.
Yo, somebody told me that game, we talked about it, I think it was last episode, or maybe 2 episodes ago, Dead Space.
Right.
Was actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm still not sure if it's like a remake.
It's a remake.
So it's a remake.
It's a remake. Oh,
Okay,
that's what
okay.
we read. We read that it was a remake.
Okay. So, but they told me that it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I did enjoy it when it first came out on the what did we play on the Xbox?
You had the Xbox at the time,
Yeah.
360.
Yeah. So it was pretty good on the Xbox 360. Can't lie. But what's next, bro?
So we were talking last time about how like DC maybe is dropping the ball with their movie game, but they might be on the come up with the new director or like
the guy
curator,
that
James Gunn.
directed Galaxy
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's gonna be like manning all these shows, and the next like center point movie that they want to make is Superman. Is a Superman movie.
Are they bringing back the guy?
Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
So right now it's unconfirmed who's gonna play Superman. There's a lot of news back and forth about like, okay, he was gonna do it and he left The Witcher for it, and then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, he's not gonna do it.
But I did see that there's a new season of The Witcher coming on Netflix, and he's in it again.
Is he in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I saw that somewhere.
So that also
I might be
confirms that
wrong.
maybe he might not be doing Superman because
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I might not be wrong on that one. I might not be right, but I know I've seen it somewhere where they were gonna drop a new season of The Witcher, and then I saw his face on there, so I was like, oh, because I know they were gonna do the whole thing with him and The Rock.
Yeah.
But The Rock basically dropped out as being Black Adam. He don't want to do it anymore.
Wow.
Because he was supposed to be the staple of DC. Like it was supposed to be from him.
Black Adam?
Yeah, it was supposed to be him, and then they were supposed to work around it.
I guess.
And kind of like expand out. But since he wants to drop from being Black Adam, it's like they're basically back to square one.
So the center point of this universe is going to be this new Superman movie. It's called Superman Legacy. It is going to be directed by James Gunn. So he's going to be doing like a lot of the curating of the other movies, like overseeing them, not like really like hands-on, or I don't know how hands-on he'll be, but he's not going to be directing those movies. This movie, he's actually going to be directing. Hopefully, I know you said you didn't really like the new Suicide Squad, but he does have a lot of heart. Him and his brother directed this movie called Brightburn.
I've seen that one.
You seen
that supposed to be like a evil version of Superman? Yeah.
So that movie had a lot of heart for being about like a psychopathic kid that can kill you and, ends up becoming like a bad guy. Spoiler alert. I'm expecting this to be a good movie. It's so, you know how like Marvel used to have like phase 1, 2, and 3 or whatever?
Yeah.
So with DC, they're doing chapters. So the DC Universe chapter 1 is going to be Gods and Monsters. When they asked him about the movie, like what kind of inspiration he's going to be using. So he said like All-Star Superman, which is a really good Superman story. And then a lot of like the early days establishing Superman stories, Birthright, Last Son, just a lot of these early Superman stories. So, and he's a big comic book guy. So I'm trusting that he's going to make it faithful because he's also an artist as far as like being a director, like a good movie that will paint Superman in a good light. So, because like you said, they had the perfect guy as far as like the guy, like Henry Cavill looked the part. He speaked commanding. He was like, he wasn't, I don't want to say as good as Christopher Reeves, but he had a charm that he brought to Superman that we hadn't seen in a while. Because even like the one before, like, have you seen Superman Returns?
Yeah.
That one wasn't like super bad, but it wasn't
the best.
It wasn't like the comics and like what I see from the comics. It was more like, the old Supermans.
Yeah.
Which, my dad and a friend of mine, they really like that Superman, Christopher Reeves.
Oh.
But
there's even I think I saw somebody say they're gonna make a Batman movie. But it's gonna be like a more older Batman. And they were even thinking about bringing back George Clooney.
George Clooney?
Yeah. To play the elder version of Batman.
They're coming out with The Flash. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
The Flash is coming out, and that has the old Batman. It has Michael Keaton Batman.
Oh, okay.
So that's coming out. I think they might also keep the new Batman that they have, like Christopher. I've been saying Christopher the last couple of videos. It's Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
He's gonna be, or he still is Batman, and then they're gonna do another Batman. But the Batman that they're doing in the Flash is a crossover universe Batman, because even Ben Affleck's in that movie. The new Flash that's coming out.
Yeah. No. You know what they should do though? I've always liked. I think it's called. Which one's the one where he's like really old, but he's training like the
Batman
new
Beyond?
Batman Beyond.
Yeah, that would be dope.
That'd be dope for a movie.
Yeah.
I thought that's what they were gonna do, because when they said they were gonna do like an old Batman, like the Batman that kind of just stays at the Batcave and then lets the other Batman.
Yeah,
he's there like to
go and do his
coach.
thing.
Yeah, like Batman Beyond. I think that would be pretty dope.
Yeah, that would be cool. They said that they're going to do 5 shows and 5 movies for this chapter 1, Superman being one of them.
Okay.
So I'm excited to see like what the other ones, if the other Batman movie is part of this whole DC universe thing. But
all I can say is I hope they pull it off, and I hope
they need to do is make good movies.
That's it.
Not worry about like some sort of like overarching thing.
Easier said than done.
I know, right? Like, I don't
we don't produce movies, but always, as critics, we're like, all you gotta do is just make a fucking good movie.
I know, but you can tell when there's when it's just a cash grab and there's no soul, and they kind of just like slap this movie together and just fucking package it out and throw it. You can tell.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of felt with those movies, Justice League and all that stuff.
They just need to, I don't know, maybe they just need a good director, a good direction of where they're going to be heading with the movie. And that's what I'm saying. I hope with this new guy that came on board to direct these movies and, keep it on the right direction, it plays out.
Do you like Guardians of the Galaxy?
I do.
Do you like, what else did he do? Scooby-Doo?
But just because... But I'm saying, just because his artistic style worked perfectly for Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't always mean it's going to work perfectly with DC. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I hope it does work out. I'm not trying to say that I'm thinking it's going to fail. I don't want it to fail. Like, I'm a big DC fan, and I want it to succeed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because the better the movies they give us, the better for us. Yeah, better for us. Us as the viewers, And I don't want to see DC fall. Like, I don't want to see them keep pushing these, like, half-ass movies. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, because you're spending your hard-earned money to go watch these movies at the movie theaters. Sometimes. And last thing you want is to sit for like an hour and a half to 2 hours on a movie that you're like, it could have been done better.
Yeah, there is a lot of like investment in these movies as fans.
Yeah.
Somebody's favorite character is Superman. Somebody's favorite character are these characters. And you have to do them justice.
You do.
No pun intended.
All right, man. So
that's the move. So I don't know if I said it. It's coming out July 1st, 2025. Superman Legacy. So check for it. So on to the meat and potatoes of the episode.
Meat and potatoes.
So subbed and dubbed. The debate anime fans have been having for a while, like ever since the first anime was translated into English, subtitled, and they took those subtitles and turned them into dubs. That's when this debate started. Like, okay, do I go with the subtitles or do I listen to the dubbed?
Okay.
So for those who are uninitiated, subbed and dubbed. So subbed is short for subtitled. So where they subtitle it in English and then it's heard in its original or Japanese language. Oftentimes the original language is Japanese.
Yes.
That's sub. Or when they dub it, they completely remove the dialogue and they completely dub over it with English-speaking actors. That, for the most part, the sounds are still the same. So like the effects, all those things are the same. But anything that comes from an actor is completely removed and dubbed over in English.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Both have their pros and their cons. And that's what we're here to talk about, the pros and cons of both. And to see what is the best way to enjoy anime.
Okay.
So last time in the episode, you wanted to start with the positives because of, there was more negatives to talk about. So I think we kind of know. I think you're going to be surprised about what I think, but for the most part, because I am still in agreement. I'm trying to stay objectionable. What is it? Objective with this episode. As far as like which one's better, do you want to say that now or do you want to say it later?
I think maybe let's just start that way.
Let's go through it.
Let's just start with what do you prefer?
I'm gonna save my opinion.
You want to save your opinion?
I'm gonna
for
save
last?
mine. Yeah.
All right. So between like sub and dub, there's a whole back and forth thing in the community, a debate, like you said. And I've always heard the stereotype of like you're kind of like a noob if you're watching anime and is dubbed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like
a noob. Why a noob?
Because like it's like you're not a true anime head. You know what I mean? You didn't grow up reading subtitles.
Okay. I mean,
like,
when we got it here in
when
America, it was dubbed over. Like when we got Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, it was in English.
But I don't like it wasn't English because I remember a lot of the times, and I think this goes for everybody watching anime when we were younger. I used to watch it through Toonami.
Toonami, yeah. Adult Swim and Toonami.
Adult Swim and Toonami, and theirs is all dubbed.
Right.
So that's how I remember watching it. But the thing is that with Toonami, a lot of the anime was old or like behind.
Okay.
So like if you were watching Naruto episode 5, the anime version or like the animated version, Japanese, which is just subbed, was probably like maybe a couple of episodes ahead.
A couple hundred episodes ahead.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? So because it also takes a while for it to be converted into dub. And then for it to be converted into sub, and then it takes a little bit longer. And usually they try to wait until the whole season is over with in order for them to then make it dub.
Early anime,
because they have to find the right voice actors. Right. So that it is a process. So if you're willing to wait, and that's what I'm saying, like I think the debate comes from like if you're a noob if you watch it in dub because you're behind. Like way behind
nowadays. Yes.
Nowadays. Well, in the beginning when anime was really coming up, because like I said, it just took a while.
Yeah, but do you remember anybody popular anime who was watching anime subbed back when we were getting it on Toonami?
No, I do. I had friends that would watch it sub because they were watching on the computer, right? Or they would read the manga. So either way, you know what I mean? Because if you read the manga, you're already ahead of the game. You're already ahead of the curve of everybody else.
Right. You're way ahead of the anime.
Way ahead of it. And then the people that are then watching it animated watch it sub. Right. You know what I mean? And then again, you will have to wait usually until the whole season is over with. Yeah. And if the anime is even popular enough for them to make it dubbed. You know what I mean? Because again, like it takes money to then find voice actors and then do the whole translation and, changing the voices and all that. Yeah. And to match the energy and blah, blah, blah of what the characters are saying, so on and so on. You know what I mean? Okay. So that takes money. So it's like if you had a certain anime, don't expect it to be dubbed just because you liked it, because it might not be a popular anime enough for them to do it. Nowadays, I would say yes, because it's becoming like a normal. Yeah. But like
they get the dub like, almost right away.
Yeah. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like it's becoming normal now. So it's something like people can profit off this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, so you answered one of the questions. So that is why I guess your anime friends, your anime elitist friends are making fun of you for watching dub, because there's no way you're watching dubbed and you're as caught up as them who are watching subbed, but then also the people who are reading the manga, you're not as caught up as them because you're not reading the manga.
Yeah, so it's through categories. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if you're a manga reader, and that's usually like you prefer to read mangas because it's the most updated, the most like
it's the most direct translation of the writer's vision
of what's going on. And on top of that, you're ahead of the game. You know what's going on. And that's what people, when I watch like YouTube videos about like anime and they always talk about like a certain subject, they always say like, well, in the manga, spoilers alert for the people that watch the animation because you're so behind. Like there's anime such as Attack on Titan, which has been done and over with. Right. Manga wise, it is complete. Like there's nothing more left. Yeah. But if you don't read the mangas and all you do is watch the animation,
like it just came back for you.
It just came back for you with this new part 3. Right. Of the finale, right? Right. And then again, if you're a dub watcher,
you're not gonna get it for a while.
Yeah, you're not. You're just basically just kind of like heading towards the end. So this is what I mean. Like there's 3 categories, and it depends on where you fall. You're either ahead of the game or you're just way behind because you don't like reading the subtitles, or you're just not that person that likes reading. Okay, but that's just my opinion.
So let's get into it. So we kind of already talked about one of the pros. So the pros of subbed is that you are ahead of waiting on it to get dubbed. Of course, you're behind the manga, but that's one of the pros that we have for watching it subtitled. Another pro is that it's the original language. So it's the original language as the writer. So you get a more direct translation from mind to finished product when you're listening to it in the original language.
Yeah.
So, I haven't even here, under the manga, of course. I wanted to ask you. So a lot of times some people tell me that the original voice actors are better in the original language than the voice actors that we have dubbed. Do you agree with that? Or
I do agree with that.
You do agree with that?
I think, I don't know. I just like it.
Japanese people have better voice acting.
No, it's to me, it just sounds, because that's what it was intended. And when you watch anime, I don't think American, or I don't think English. I think Japanese. So I rather hear it in the original voice that they chose. Because think about it. You as an anime creator, you create a certain character such as like Deku, All Might, or whatever. So when you think of Deku, All Might, Baku, whoever you want to think, whoever your favorite character is, this creator had an image of what the character looked like and should sound like. So then they chose a specific person to match that voice that they had imaged. You know what I mean?
When they do voice acting in English, they give a guy who sounds or can carry the essence
of that character, right?
In English.
But in English. But it's not like, is it the original creator that is choosing these voice actors in English?
No, sometimes it's an animation house who has a voice acting casting director.
Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever watched anime in Spanish?
No, I have not. Have you?
It's so trippy, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they dub it in Spanish.
Right.
So there was this...
but they still have, like, for a commanding guy, they have a baritone commanding voice. Or for, a soft girl, they have a little girl's voice. Or, a scared guy, like a Zenitsu. I bet he has the same tone. Scared and frail, but I'm
presuming that like whatever language, like if let's say Dragon Ball Z, they have voice actors for Piccolo, but in German,
right?
Because you know how Dragon Ball Z is like such a big anime that can be like, I feel like everybody around the world watches that.
Yeah, no. When you go to Crunchyroll, they have it
different
dubbed.
Languages, right? Yeah.
They even have it subbed in different languages, which is I think pretty cool. But go ahead.
No, but I'm just thinking, be like in dub, because you're hearing it in a different language, in a different essence. So it's like.
But I was asking, do you think our voice actors are shittier than?
I don't think they're shittier. I wouldn't say they're shittier. I think it's just my preference. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely go for voice acting. I just rather hear it in Japanese, because that's how you originally hear it. Because again, you're such ahead of the game. You hear it like that, and then for you to like rewatch it and say, "Oh, I'm gonna watch it," or even if like a friend of yours is watching that episode and decides to watch it in dub, and they're speaking it in English, it throws you off because you're so used to hearing that character in that Japanese voice that when you hear it in English, it throws me. I'm like, who's that talking, bro?
Yeah, that's different from being familiar with a certain voice versus like it being a bad voice.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad voice. I'm not criticizing on that part. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad voice or they're just choosing whoever, because I know like they do their diligence to find a good voice actor that gets that essence of that character.
Yeah. So we have some voice actors that are American voice actors, like Christopher Sabat. He does the voice of All Might, Armstrong from Full Metal, All Might from My Hero, Vegeta from Dragon Ball, and Zoro. This is all done by the same guy. Those are some characters that I know I've heard in English, and he does a good job of like playing All Might or Armstrong, or definitely Vegeta, especially like growing up with Dragon Ball. Like, you got the voice of Vegeta in your head, right?
Yeah.
So like he's a good representation of these characters. He can go high, go low, hit the emotional beats. I have John DiMaggio. He's the voice of Bender from Futurama and the voice of Jake the dog. In anime, for the dubbed, he does Brother 2 in Afro, one of the 6 brothers that he has. And he does a character in Ninja Scrolls, which is like this really nice movie. I don't know if you've seen it on Hulu.
No.
It's really, really nice. It's old. It's like maybe as old as Akira, or maybe like around that time, but
Ninja Scrolls.
It's really, really, really good. And he also does two characters, one character in Castle in the Sky and in Princess Mononoke in the dubbed. So this same voice actor voices all these characters. And then another one I have is John Rassenberger. He's a character in all of the Pixar movies. So you know the voice of like Ham from Toy Story, the piggy bank,
Yeah.
or like when in Finding Nemo when he's trying to find directions and all those fish come together and like they're like talk about Sydney.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I
then
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's some guy. He's in like all of the Pixar movies.
Okay.
So he's also a character in Spirited Away in the dubbed. He's the assistant manager, like one of I think they're frogs.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So we do have good voice actors.
No, we do.
In English.
So how do you feel about the fact that majority of the voice actors in Japanese are, especially for male characters such as Naruto,
Not majority, but
some
of the main guys.
of the main guys like Naruto, Goku, Ash are female
Right. Yeah.
voice actors
Yeah.
versus when in America, like in English, they're always, same sex.
Not always.
Is there one? Is there one? Because I'm just speaking from what I know.
In Japan?
No. In English, because I know that in English they usually like Goku is a male
In English.
in English. Yeah,
Yeah.
is a male actor. Voice actor.
Right.
But I'm saying like in Japanese is a female.
Right. Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean,
like,
okay,
why
okay with that.
not? Why not use a female?
To do a female?
Why not use a female English voice actor to do Goku? The same way they used a female Japanese actor or voice actor to do Goku.
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, it's all about the casting. So if a female can do a good Goku, then they would. But that's just how it is in Japan because like that for them that voice actor captures Goku. So he doesn't even sound like a girl either.
He doesn't.
But he does have like a pitch in his voice. That
Same thing with Naruto.
with Naruto, even with Ash. Like
Yeah, they have like it's a little high pitch.
Yeah, let me see. Actually, let me see.
But that's what my question was coming. Like,
Yeah.
why is there a reason, or has there ever been a moment where they used a female English voice actor to play a male anime character?
Yeah, Ash Ketchum, Sarah Nato Kenny. I'm butchering her name. Sarah Nato Cheney is a voice actor, and she plays Ash in English.
In English? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it does happen.
Okay.
Like I even in like Bob's Burger, they have a male play one of the females. Jordan Peele from Key and Peele?
Yeah.
You know how they have that sketch where I think her name is Megan. He plays a girl.
Yeah.
Who's like at a restaurant or whatever.
It's the one where he like chases after her and she's like, Megan, come back. No. Is it that one? Is that what you're talking about? That sketch?
There's a bunch of sketches where I think where this girl, because they have him in overarching sketches.
Yeah.
But the one that I'm thinking about is where they're in the restaurant and he's talking with, and the girl, it's Jordan Peele talking to his homegirl, and they're both girls or whatever. But whatever, that voice he brings to Bob's Burger to play like one of the landlord's girlfriends.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
that stuff for me is pretty fluid as long as like, it does sound like the person you think it is. Like I wouldn't have known. I didn't know for a long time that a girl voiced Goku, Ash, and all these characters.
Who was that person that came to that Comic-Con here in Fort Myers that she played the voice for Frieza?
Yeah.
Was that in English or in Japanese?
I think that was in English.
Okay. So there is a female, but then again, Frieza is like
right, an alien.
Is there a sex to his alien? Was that ever discussed? Is he a male or female?
I do not know
A
actually.
unisex?
Probably.
Because I don't think they ever went into
Like a Orochimaru?
Yeah, I don't think they ever went to like if they had male or female for the Frieza race.
Yeah, like if they just
Because he
reproduce
does
asexually or
sound,
whatever.
the way he acts, it is flamboyant at times, but
all that stuff, especially when you're dealing with aliens, like it is pretty fluid. Yeah,
very
no,
racist race, but
yeah.
goddamn monkeys.
Yeah. So coming back to the pros for subbed. So I've been told that maybe you get more information in subbed. So for me, anime is overly expressive, and even when it's being subtle, you can tell a lot of the characters' emotions through like their body languages and
Facial
expressions, sometimes even like phrases that they say.
Mm-hmm.
So like if a person's mad, you're going to see them that they're mad. So you don't really need a talented voice actor to express anger because their face is red or they have like that big, thing on their forehead.
Yeah.
So you don't really need to like emote that much when you're voice acting. But there's a lot of phrases that they have in Japanese that has a different meaning, different depending on like the tone and how like yelling it or speaking it. Like I think.
Oh yeah. No.
Baka.
I've heard of a lot of people, like, especially when like I used to watch videos of like people try to say certain phrases or certain things in Japanese.
Yeah.
But depending on the way you say it or pronounce it, it can mean different things.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's one huge role that plays between sub and dub is that fact, because it is written in Japanese. You know what I mean? The language, the narrative of what these characters are saying is written in Japanese. So when you translate something like that, sometimes it just doesn't translate correctly. So then they have to like rephrase it or reword it to where it sounds better in dub.
Right. Well, so think of Baka. So Baka, if you're an anime fan, you've heard it before. It means like fool or idiot.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on how it's said, though, the level of rudeness can like fluctuate. Where you're going like, oh, you silly fool, or where they're calling you like an idiot, or you're a jackass or a dumbass. Yeah. All that is in the same word, Baka. So there's like subtle translations that aren't limited to how we actually sound, and then it kind of like overly conveys what they're saying. When you're doing it subtitled, you can kind of like be more dynamic with the information because I'm saying it in one word, but you can kind of like tell a whole story of what I'm talking about subtitled.
Yeah.
So you kind of like, you kind of also learn the language as you're watching it, because just because you can't understand it doesn't mean you don't hear it. Especially with like words like names, like you can tell when they're saying Naruto, Luffy, or whatever, and which word comes before and after that is probably like the insult or the term of endearment or whatever that they're saying. So you kind of like learn the language as well. So that's, a benefit you could say with subbed.
True.
Any other pros before we go into the cons?
Pros for both?
For subbed.
I
want to start off easy. Start off praising sub and why I think you should watch subbed. If you can, I would say go subbed.
In the past, I made a joke about anime heads that watch it in sub, us being a whole different breed.
Right. Got a lazy eye.
Yeah, the whole lazy eye, like, because I think that's one other reason why people don't like sub is the fact that you have to read it. And then a lot of people don't like the fact that you got something going on and then you have to look down to read what they're saying.
Yeah.
And that kind of like throws people off. And that's why they rather just watch it in dub because, they're listening into their native language. So it's just easier to like watch and comprehend what they're saying at the same time.
Right.
Versus
you can turn
watch and read. But I'm so used to it, I don't even notice it. Do you?
I mean, even when I watch stuff in English, I do prefer to have it subtitled just so I don't miss anything.
That's what I like.
Sometimes, like, somebody will be on the phone or somebody will be like in a different room just and then they'll have.
You're deaf, bro. I'm not deaf. I think everybody's deaf. I think everybody's
getting deaf.
It's getting deaf. I mean, we listen to loud music in the car where we're slowly getting deaf. And like you said, when I watch movies in English, I like having the subtitles in the bottom.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just something because I acquired through watching so much anime that I'm just used to having the subtitles there. But the benefit of having the subtitles is because you don't want to miss a certain crucial information that you're later on like, wait, when the fuck did they mention that?
Yeah.
Like, and it's
sometimes when I get out of my car, like to pump gas or something, or even like just like really quick or whatever, I'll notice I'm like, damn, I was listening to the music like actually pretty loud.
Yeah.
So it could be it. It sounds like you're going into the cons. So no cap sub fans. I know we already established that. Or did we establish that subbed is the best way? Do you think we talked highly enough of sub before we get into the cons?
You didn't want to go into like your preference or like what you thought was better. So I mean, to me personally, I like subbed.
To big up subbed, it is in the native language. You'll learn the language speaking it. You'll get a lot more out of the anime if you watch it subbed. And it is, a little labor intensive, like going up and down and reading and maybe having to rewind stuff.
But I think it's easy. I think you get used to it. Like I said, I've never felt once in my life I was like.
But that would be like writing with your left hand. Like you'll get used to it. But is it the best way to write?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I just feel like I grew up with dub, and that's what I'm used to. And even if because somebody had mentioned like, well, what if you look up for a second? You just literally miss maybe like a good crucial information because again, you don't understand Japanese. I'm like, that's true. I don't. So you just, I'm like, but you just rewind it. It's the same thing like when you're watching a movie and you get up to get popcorn and you might have missed some crucial information because you're not watching the screen.
Well, you should pause it, bro.
That doesn't always mean you're listening to what's going on. Do you get what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's like just like if somebody had gotten my attention while I was watching an anime, I might have missed something. And even though I don't understand the language, I'm still going to rewind it because I want to know what I missed.
If it's something that you think is like crucial and all that. Yeah. Sometimes they'll be like not dragging on, but like going into their things. So a con that I have here, because it's not all sunshines and rainbows with subbed, is that you can't watch anime and multitask. Like we were talking about earlier, you can't.
I've managed that.
You managed it?
Yeah.
It's hard. Okay.
It's superpower.
I said can't, but it's hard
not
to.
A lot of people can,
Right.
but I feel I've done it in the past where I have multitask, where I had like an anime going and I've,
subbed anime?
I don't know, man. I got those fucking Sharingan eyes.
Very nice.
My pupils are just going.
In this fast-paced world, sometimes it is hard to only focus on reading when you're trying to enjoy, an audio and a visual medium. Also, maybe sometimes the best way to read a book is to do an audiobook. And this is where we would insert the ad to our favorite audiobook company right here. This is like where we say, well, if you do this one, we're not going to say it right now.
No.
Whichever one, we obviously think is the best one and one that our listeners.
When that day comes, Yeah, that's a good plug. So
I understand that maybe dubbed, if the dubbed is available and you want to watch a show in the background and you haven't developed your Sharingan hasn't
your
developed
Sharingan
yet.
reading eyes.
You haven't hit the Mangekyo yet in your Sharingan. If the dubbed is available, I can see where you'd want to put that on in the background and kind of
just let it play and
just let it play and kind of get through it. And then maybe when you get caught up, then obviously go in for the sub. But it is just easier to enjoy anime when it is dub versus sub.
But that's the thing with anime. I don't see how somebody can just listen to it like in the background. It just wouldn't make so much sense because like you keep. I know you mentioned your favorite audiobook. Think about it. Yeah. When you buy a anime book, does it not come with pictures?
A manga?
Yeah, the pictures are part of the storytelling.
Yeah, but you can't read a book just off of pictures though.
No, but that's what the words are there. But I mean, you need the pictures because that's what it's not like your conventional book where it's just chapter by chapter and all it is words. Like that's what I feel like anime is like. It's both
It's
words.
like comic books.
Yeah, it's like comic book.
Yeah, but even a comic book, you can get the gist, you can get the emotion of a story,
but they
reading the pictures.
Yes, but just reading the pictures, they add the expression,
right?
Or they add little, little pop-up things, kind of thing. But it's not in words. It's just little things. But the pictures is part of the whole narrative,
right?
If that makes sense.
But when your eyes are averted from the screen, there are no pictures. Then it is just all words.
Yeah.
So that would be like trying to read a manga with no pictures in Japanese.
No, but it's the same. But I feel like it's just plays together in a sense. Like I can't just watch Boruto.
You shouldn't be watching Boruto.
I can't just watch Boruto and be like, well, I'm just gonna play in the background, and just listen to what the fuck is going on, or what Boruto is saying or whatever. Because there's no context
or with anything.
With anything, even a movie. You know what I mean? You can't watch a movie in the background, but then I feel like something's gonna happen, and you're like, whoa, and then you might look back or rewind it just to see what actually happened, not what was just said.
Yeah, but even if you're driving and listening to music, or washing the dishes and listening to music, or even a podcast, how 100% listening are you listening?
Yeah, but the same thing. Our podcast is audio. But we do record it, and when we do mention something that like, oh, we're gonna have something pop up here,
Right.
You know what I mean? That's where the visual comes in.
Right.
So the people that are listening to us probably won't know what we're popping up here, but the people that are watching it on YouTube will. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I mean. But like, if our podcast was based off like visual effects and like us putting like, oh, here's Naruto, here's this, or here's this scene, or we're right here in the background, we're gonna play a quick clip of
We're in space.
yeah, but like people, unless we're explaining it like in detail, like we're in space, we're jumping, or this is Naruto,
it's not an
and
anime.
Naruto punch sock, like you know what I mean. We're describing something. Then yes, you'll be able to listen and paint a picture. That's why it's a book, like an American book, is just that. It's literally descriptive,
right?
Versus an anime, they don't have to be descriptive because they're already drawing it out. They're already drawing out that scene of what's going on.
There's exposition in anime, like telling a story about like how I did this or how this happened or the legacy of that sword. There is a lot of like audio-ness because it's not a silent movie either. Like there is information to be conveyed in the audio format when you are watching an anime.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like multitasking, I don't mean like to have your back to it. I mean like to dip back and forth
between it.
Yeah, it is 10 times easier
it is 10 times easier, especially if you're listening to it in your native language.
Yeah.
Because like the moment you look away from the screen and now you're just listening in Japanese, you're not going to understand unless you know Japanese.
Right. So that's the way around that aspect. If you do want to multitask and watch anime subbed, you just got to learn the language. But I've also had to rewind my share of anime because I missed like a certain phrase or like a twist or the name of something where something happened and then everybody's all, the mood is set, everybody's cool, and then somebody says something and then everybody's pissed.
Yeah.
So I've had to be like, okay, hold on, what did he say? What did he say? And then, then the story just keeps going forward. Like, what did he say? Like, how could you say that to me? And I'm like, oh shit, what did he say? So if that's the case, then that's another way around it, around this con. So these cons have their hurdles. Let's go into the cons of dubbed. Do you know any cons for dubbed? Like where is dubbed lacking? As easy as it is to enjoy anime, what are you missing with dubbed?
I'm not I think what I have already explained in the beginning was the fact that when you watch something in dub and that's your way of watching it, you're always going to be behind. I think that's one of the cons you had said, like that I had brought up.
If you're waiting on strictly dubbed,
yeah, it's strictly like you're not gonna fuck with sub. You just want dub,
right?
You're always gonna be behind. But I can't think of anything like I'm not used to the voice actors. Like I'm not used to listening to it in English. So that's something that throws me off. But if that's something that is your normal, you just like watching anime and dub, then that makes sense. You're used to it. You probably even find it weirder that it's in we're listening to it in Japanese.
Right, but we're trying to encourage people to make that jump one way or the other from sub to dubbed, and why it is okay to watch it dubbed or why you should be watching it subbed.
Mm-hmm.
So a con that I have for dubbed is that sometimes it might be cringe. So when you're hearing these phrases, because, especially with anime, it is overly expressive and a lot of declarations like, I am going to be the greatest warrior in the whole world, or I'm going to fucking be the mayor of the damn town.
Yeah, translate. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Sometimes
it sounds
cringe. Like cringe. So I remember when I was watching My Hero, I was actually put off of watching My Hero in the beginning because I was watching it dubbed. And if you're a fan of My Hero, or even if you're not, the main character Deku, he has like a big heart.
Yes.
And he doesn't have any quirks, he doesn't have any powers. He's born in this world idolizing heroes, but he doesn't have any powers when like 80% of people just have powers. So he's like waiting for him to hit puberty and get his powers, but it doesn't happen. Comes,
yeah.
So in the episode, he cries a lot. In the first couple episodes, he cries a crazy amount. It was so off-putting that I was like, even if he does get powers, I don't want to hear from this guy anymore. So then I watched it again, subbed, and then it was, it's still annoying, but it's more better. It's more bearable because, you know, it was just like a heavy part of like the first couple episodes. Because, you know, imagine he's meeting his hero for the first time, All Might, and he's like, you know, talking to him and he's acknowledging him and telling him, hey man, you might make a great hero one day. And he's like, oh my God, All Might, you think that? And he's just like crying and oh my God. So it's still annoying.
You know
it's
what
just more
also
bearable.
I would think would be cringe is, you know how like some anime characters are overthinkers,
Right.
and they're over analyzing shit, and then in
Like their
Japanese,
mind is racing?
yeah, or they're like thinking of a plan or something at that moment,
Right.
and they're like, oh, if I turn this way, it might catch him off guard. Because I can something.
There's a lot of that in Death Note.
Yeah, like, you know, they're overthinking, they're over analyzing like whatever they're going about to do or whatever their opponent's about to do, and it's kind of like the moment is zoomed into like their personal thoughts, like it's just them in that moment trying to figure out, and everything's kind of slowed down.
Yeah, this person would sound like a crazy person.
Yeah. But it looks good when they're talking it in Japanese and you're just reading it. But like when you actually watch that same episode in dub, you hear it, it sounds cringe because it's like, bro, why is he talking to himself? Like, yeah, and then if I upper punch him and then he might cross me, I might have to turn left on him. And it's like, but nothing has really happened yet because he's just analyzing like what might happen. So it sounds cringe in English.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
A thought of mine that came after we did the episode of live action is the Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr. where he does that whole thing where he's like, block him, and then he's going to jab over here and then, you know, counter and all that stuff. You know, that is what anime is.
Yeah.
So anime is a lot of like, wow, how did he do that move? And then they just go through they spend the next 10 minutes talking about the last 10 seconds.
You know who makes fun of it a lot? Have you ever watched YouTubers called RDC World?
Yeah.
They make fun of that a lot. Like, especially when they're playing basketball, like, how did he duke me like that? How did he get past my defense? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It sounds cringe, which makes it funny, but that's in reality how anime is.
Yeah. It's just less cringe when you hear it in the voice.
Yeah. Versus like in English. And then I think they poke fun of that. Like,
yeah, no, it is. You know, and anime is, like I said, overly expressive.
It is way overly expressive. And if you watch sport anime, it's just like that. It's like overly expressive. And it's like those moments where they just like zoom into that character's thoughts, and then they're talking about like their next moves and maybe, oh, is the opponent gonna read my move? Does he know? How does he know what I'm thinking? Like, how did he know I was gonna go left? Yeah. Like when I, you know, stomped to the right, knowing I was going, like, how did he know that? Like,
not all anime is like that though. I don't want people to think that, you know, anime is just this like over the top, because anime does have some sort of subtlety to it.
Some subtlety, but a lot of anime, majority of it is say is over the top. It has to be over the top. That's what gets you going.
Not always. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's like in like as little motion that they do, or sometimes, you know, character isn't saying what they feel, but you can tell because like of their silence. So there is some sort of subtlety to it.
Yeah, but like I'm thinking about like the newer animes, because I know some animes are kind of more like laid back and chill. It has like, you know, like it's a storytelling, but there's like My Hero Academia. I feel like that anime itself is over the top. Like there's over the top scenes,
right? Where,
you know, like Deku is like pouring his heart out of why he wants to be the number one hero, how he wants to save everybody.
Yeah, but who's that guy who's half fire, half ice? Todoroki?
I think so.
He's subtle.
Yeah, he's subtle. But like some characters I feel like are always over the top, and some animes are over the top. I'm not saying like every episode has to be over the top, but there is parts where it is over the top. But I'm not saying I don't not like it. I do like it when it's over the top. I feel like that's just part of animation. Like,
yeah. No, for sure. But I'm saying it has a blend. So you can have subtlety in your voice acting, how we were talking about earlier, where you don't need to have subtlety for the most part in anime as a voice actor. But sometimes, yes, you do have to have, you know, take a step back and have a soft voice, or, you know, be a little beatific.
Yeah.
So let's see.
What other cons can you think of for
dub? Just, you know, opposite of what we said are the pros for subbed, but mainly that's like a big one is like sometimes even when you do watch it and you know, and you're like accustomed to anime, like myself, sometimes it is a little hard on the ears to hear, these cool characters say these like cringe and dumb phrases in English
because of the way it's translated.
just because of the way like it sounds in English or the way it's like it translates. I think they do the best with the translations too. I think that's the best really way that they can say it because
without going off course, like without trying to like change the narrative.
Yeah, because there's no not, and this is most of the time you don't really to be a voice actor. You're not going to just read the subtitles word for word.
No,
sometimes you have to like actually change it up a lot, or maybe even like in a speech, put some of the stuff in the beginning and the stuff from the end, at the end, and just flip all of it, just so it can make sense. Just like how it is in the Spanish, you know, you don't say the green truck, you say truck green. You know, like it is like that in Japanese, especially like with the way that they say like the names. They don't say my name is Naruto Uzumaki. They say Naruto Uzumaki is my name. You know, that's like just that switch is the difference in like the language.
And that would even sound weird, like
if you translate it word to word, right?
Naruto Uzumaki is my name, and you're like, why are you saying it like that?
Was he James Bond or some shit?
Fuck this nigga think he is.
Uzumaki, Naruto Uzumaki.
Damn, who told him he was the main character of his own show?
I know, right?
Yeah, no, that's true, man.
So I do think that there are pros, though. So the pros of dub, it is easier. There is actually good dubbed anime, and maybe some anime that's better dubbed than subbed.
I've heard of that. I've heard of some people say that, and I can't think of an anime right now, but I've heard of that saying that, oh, it sounds way much better in English than it did in Japanese.
So I got a couple for you. So
you do? Go ahead for it.
For me, Dragon Ball sounds better in English than it does in Japanese.
That was the one that I heard of. That's Dragon Ball sounds way much better in English than it does in Japanese.
And it's not because Goku is voiced by a girl. I just feel like he has like a better, stronger voice in English because he still has like the aloof, goofy side that the voice actor gives Goku, but he can go like, I'm Goku, you know.
I feel like I can watch it both ways though.
No, you can definitely watch it, but I'm talking about, so I'm just trying to big up by it, dub because, you know, a lot of people talk shit about dubbed, and, you know, there is.
So you are siding with dub.
In some case, in these cases right here, I'm siding with dub. So Dragon Ball is one, you know, all the way through to Dragon Ball Super, I think is actually really good in
dubbed. Yeah. I can agree on that.
I even talked about earlier about like some of the voice actors. The voice actor for Vegeta is really good. He's like a really good voice actor. And he's in the dubbed version. I have Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Those
in English.
So
I grew up watching that in English.
Maybe because we grew up watching it, that's why we prefer it that way.
Yeah.
Not saying that I look at them as cartoons, but I didn't even know that they were anime.
I didn't either
for a long time
because they were. I saw it through WB.
WB, yeah,
yeah. That's
Saturday morning.
Yep, that's how I saw it, and they were in English. So I thought it was just an English cartoon.
Right.
I didn't know it was Japanese later on, but
I have heard it in Japanese, and it still does sound like straight, and it sounds like, you know, real emotive and things like that. But
yeah,
I never really thought that it sounded weird or goofy like I do when I hear like My Hero or Demon Slayer in dub now. So maybe if I grew up with Demon Slayer and My Hero and Attack on Titan
in dub,
then maybe I would think that of them, same like I do with Dragon Ball. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I did try to give it a chance.
It's really, I think in the end of the day, it's your preference. How do you like your anime? As long as you're watching anime and supporting anime, that's all they really care.
Yeah,
I don't think they make less money because you watch it in English versus in Spanish versus in Japanese.
What or about Spanish? The Spanish voice actors, man?
Oh, I heard. No, there was a clip on TikTok that I watched where I think it was Deku's voice. Mm-hmm. No, it was Tanjiro's voice.
Okay,
in Demon Slayer, and they had both voice actors. It was a Latin voice actor, and it was the original female. Mm-hmm. For his voice actors. I think this is the female voice actor.
Okay.
And they made them both say kind of the same phrase that involved a little bit of like a screaming.
Okay.
And they did it in Spanish and then they did it in Japanese. And to me, it just sounded so much better in Japanese.
Really? Than in Spanish?
It did.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't remember exactly what the phrase was because I could say it right now in Spanish, but it just sounded so much better in Japanese, like that screaming part. So I think it's just a preference, man. And it's just I and like I said, in that TikTok that I was just talking about,
Oh, right.
it's it just sounded way much better in Japanese than it did in Spanish. But again, that's just my preference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
that's
another
what
one
I'm
I have
used
here
to.
is Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. I think this one is better dubbed, and mainly because it just has a lot of good voice acting in it. So like when I think of like
I've
Spike
never-
and Mugen, like they have like
I've
a very
never-
rich voice that
I've never seen it in dub.
really.
Sorry, not Samurai Champloo. I've never seen it in dub. I've seen
Cowboy.
Cowboy Bebop in dub, but not Samurai Champloo. So
Yeah, the same voice of Spike is the voice of Mugen.
I might have to rewatch it because I've
You
been.
should rewatch it,
I
man.
want to rewatch it. I've
You
been
should.
dying, and every time I'm like, what should I watch today? And I'm like,
Well, if
damn,
you could do it in
wanna-
multitask, man. You could do it in dub.
I think I might watch it in dub just to see how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might not like it. I don't know.
That's good, man. That's good. So Steve Blum, he's the voice of Mugen and Spike. He's also the voice of Orochimaru in original Naruto
Mm-hmm.
and in the new stuff. And he's also just in a bunch of cartoons. And then the last thing I have here for the benefit of dubbed is the comedies. Most of the time, comedy is better in the language that you speak, that you understand.
Yeah.
So you can read a joke in Japanese and kind of still get it. For the most part, like we were talking about, like with being like extra and over. When I laugh at jokes in Japanese, that's because like they're going crazy, they're hitting somebody in the top of the head or whatever. But sometimes will throw in some like play on words or even like short curt expressions that make me laugh. But if you're doing like a legit comedy, I think maybe you might get a little bit more mileage if you watch it in the language that you're accustomed to.
Okay.
So, there's like Fooly Cooly, Space Dandy, just a lot of comedies, even like the comedic jokes is redundant. Like the jokes that they have in Full Metal Brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
those hit in English. And, that is a good one, I feel like, that you can watch in English. I watched it subbed, but that doesn't mean, and like you said, it is all a matter of preference. But these are just some examples of some dubbed that I think is a little bit better than the subbed.
So going back to the original question.
Oh, me?
Yeah. What is your favorite preference?
My favorite preference is I did it with My Hero. I would try it out dubbed to see how much I can stomach it, because I do like the ease of like being able to watch it and like get up or even like look away or whatever. But if we're watching like a movie, I'll watch it subbed, because in a movie I'm kind of like locked in. I'm in the chair, I'm in the couch, I'm focused, I'm watching it. But if it's like a show that I kind of like maybe want to pick up and put down, I will try it dubbed first.
I got you.
I have been burnt in the past with My Hero, so what I do is if I am not enjoying the way it sounds, then I will go ahead and go into subbed. That's my preference.
I am
Subbed all day.
I'm subbed all day, bro. I did not train these eyes
to lose.
just
to
so I
lose
can
them?
just to lose a dub. Nah, man. I trained these eyes hard.
Right.
These eyes see it all. It doesn't skip a beat. So yeah, man, I'm cool with sub. Like I said,
I do agree. Subbed is better. Subbed is like the best way to go. But just like when we're talking about like streaming platforms, like that's just my preference. Like
Yeah.
Crunchyroll
No.
is the best streaming platform.
I used to
use.
clown my brother
Mhm.
for watching anime and sub. I'm like, why? Like he's been watching One Piece and he's trying like his best to catch up.
Right.
And since he watches it on Netflix, I think it's on there. He watches the dub, and I'm like, why, bro? He's like, 'cause I just don't want to read. I just want to watch and listen. And that's
But you said subbed that first. So he's watching it dubbed?
dubbed. Yeah,
Right.
he watches his dub, and I used to clown him for that because I'm
Right.
like, why? You know what I mean? And it's just easier for him.
Right.
And but at the end of the day, it's like I don't want to discourage him not to watch anime because he watches it in dub.
Yeah.
But I still think sub is the way to go.
So you don't have any anime that you think is better in
I just
English?
like you said, Dragon Ball. But like nothing that comes up in mind. Like every anime I've ever watched is in sub. And even
Well,
like you
so
had
imagine.
mentioned Samurai Champloo, like I have the only record, like the only memories I have of it is sub.
Right.
But you said like you should watch it in dub because they have really
The
good
voice
voice
acting.
character, you know,
So
voice
that's
actors
another
for
thing.
it.
So you wouldn't really get to know until you watch it both dubbed and subbed. So I've watched My Hero, at least the first season, dubbed and subbed.
Yeah.
I've seen the movie Akira dubbed and
subbed.
subbed. So we know Dragon Ball and, even Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, we've probably heard them subbed and dubbed because we've heard them dubbed growing up and then now subbed that we have like more control of like how we enjoy anime.
Yeah.
So
But hey, at the end of the day, I guess the message we want to like say to you guys or anybody that likes anime or has been watching anime for a long time is there's always been that like debate and there's always been that saying like you should watch anime sub because that's how it was intended to watch. I feel like at the end of the day, if you watch anime and you watch it dub or sub, it doesn't matter because you're watching anime.
okay,
And that's the main message, right? Like, yeah, like that's a fair message. Like, hey, support each other. Like I said, I used to dug my brother because he used to watch a dub and he's, roast him for it. But at the end of the day, like, hey, bro, like, I'm glad you're watching anime.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to bash you to the point where you feel like you can't watch it because
There's no gatekeeping in anime.
Yeah,
right now.
there-
don't
no.
gatekeep anime from the dubbed heads.
no, like
Cool it, sub people. We already know subbed is the best way to go.
it is, but like, yeah, like don't. Yeah, at the end of the day, like just be happy that they're watching it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just even though they're way behind, manga people are like sub and dub. Come on,
Right.
y'all just way behind. Read
Ain't
the
it?
goddamn book.
Ain't it?
Pick up a book every once in a while.
yes, that's me sometimes.
You know what I mean?
They
Like,
try to get on me because I'm waiting for the anime or whatever. Like, oh my god, you haven't seen the newest episode? It's like, okay, well, I'm already
you
farther than
haven't
that.
read the new chapter yet.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm disgusted with you. and your
Yes, that's how it is for
goddamn
me, so-
Watchers. Yeah,
So speaking of, let's go ahead and get into the next segment of the show, bro.
yeah. Go for it, man.
So what we're reading, what we're watching, what we're playing.
All right.
So Lewis, bro, what you reading? What you watching? What you playing?
Damn. Let's start with reading. Nothing. I
Perfect.
have yet to pick up another book.
You're waiting on the new kaiju.
Still waiting on new kaiju. I'm excited. I don't know, bro. I like it. I'm just excited. And I haven't had a chance to go to like Book a Million or what's the other one?
Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble to like
See if they even have it.
no, just to see like for a different
Oh,
anime
okay.
to read. So I haven't really
just
been
read
reading
online,
much. I know. I was thinking about that, but I don't know something about like actually having the book in hand. I don't know if it's a
turning the pages?
conversation that we had or something, but somebody had told me that they're like, it's a waste of money to go and buy these manga books because you could just read it online for free, or there's websites that you can even like subscribe or like buy a subscription for, and then
Right.
you can just read it there online.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm
what
like,
I have. I have the Shonen Jump app.
Yeah,
That's
I'm like,
what-
that's true and everything, but I don't know, something about like actually physically going to the store, browsing through their library, picking up the book,
Right.
checking out, going
Ooh.
home, and just flipping the page
Right.
from left to right.
right.
I like that.
No, for sure. There's like a collector's approach. It's like almost like we were talking
it's
about
a
like the
collector
physical
thing
versus
because,
digital
Yeah,
debate. Like,
I don't know. I just personally like that. I know some people, they're like, you could just read it online for free.
right.
Done. I'm like, that's true. I did try to read Attack on Titan online,
Okay.
and I don't know. I just couldn't get into the nostalgia of like, I was just on my computer, like scrolling page per page. And I'm like, and then I think I went to the bookstore and I actually just got the fucking manga.
Really?
It just feels
Really?
so much genuine reading it. You can feel the warmth of the print. I don't know. It's just the
backlight on your phone doesn't keep you warm, bro?
To like, yeah, it's so cold, bro. I need
Oh,
the
wow.
warmness of the
Right.
pages, the ink that just got,
Right. Your manga's scratch and sniff.
you know what I mean? I can smell Tokyo from it.
Right.
No, again, that's just me. I just like reading mangas, and I don't know if it supports the creators more if we buy the books versus reading them online.
It does.
So I'd rather just do that. I mean, I know it's gone up in price lately. I know it used to be cheaper, but that's just me. And like, I think that's too. I like collecting them. I like having them.
Yeah, seeing
And
the
like,
spine
I
on
would
your
love
bookshelf.
to have a bookshelf just with like manga on them. I still have like the original Naruto books when I 1 through 15, I think, that when Naruto first came out. I was buying the books.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So I still have them sitting in my shelves. I look at them like, damn, that's where I started. I think that's like my first mangas that I've ever bought.
Pass those off to your sons.
Versus, and then I had the Shonen Jump. Those were the other books that I used to buy that was like manga related.
Okay,
but
cool.
And then
playing.
I kind of slowed down on Hogwarts, but I'm wearing my sweater, representing. You know what I mean? Hufflepuff. But in the game, I am Ravenclaw. So I'm mad. I should wear Hufflepuff because there's a scene in there that only Hufflepuff gets to do. So I don't know why I didn't choose my house.
Yeah, you should have.
I know. I when I did the game, I don't know. I wanted Ravenclaw. I kind of like the vibe, the blue. It was kind of like a whole vibe. But I took the test online. I think everybody takes this fucking test online.
I did,
and I came out being a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, I came out Ravenclaw.
You see. Anyways, not that I don't have anything against Hufflepuff.
Harry Potter's Gryffindor, though. You don't want to be Gryffindor?
Nah, fuck Gryffindor. I feel like that's generic. I feel like everybody wants to be either Gryffindor or Slytherin.
I feel like nobody wants to be Slytherin.
But even Harry Potter. No, everybody that got the game Hogwarts wanted to be Slytherin because they just wanted to just fuck
shit up.
Yeah, fuck shit up, basically.
Nice. Yeah, I mean,
nobody wanted to be Hogwarts. I mean, Gryffindor because they were like, it's generic. Everybody's going for Gryffindor. So to me, it was like Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw. Like, and then they chose Ravenclaw. But in reality, the test says I'm Hufflepuff. And
so when you took that test, they got you that sweater?
No, I bought it. When I went to Orlando, Universal Studios, I ended up copying it. I like the material. It was chill.
Yeah, pretty cool. So you slowed down on it though?
Yeah, I slowed down on it. I've been playing more Call of Duty than anything. It's just like I like the fast pace and
watching.
Oh, Blue Lock.
Still,
bro. I don't know what it is about this anime.
Is it still going or?
It gets me freaking. It makes the hair in the back of my neck stand up. I get like the worst. What's it called? Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Ever watching this anime. It makes like I said, I'm a big soccer fan and I love watching soccer. So I don't know what about this anime. It's just it gets better and better. And I'm like, damn, I can't wait for the next episode to come out. I just can't wait. It is so good, man. And I'm into like sport animes, and I watched some before. I think we talked about that volleyball one. I forgot it was called like
Hikari or something like that.
Hikaru, something like that. So I watched that one, and that one also got me excited. Even though I'm not a huge volleyball fan, or I've ever played it in my life, but something
you
about
never even
it.
Played it, not even like in team sports.
I mean, I dabbled in it. Like, I think my mom was a big fan of volleyball. You play at it at the beach kind of thing, but like not competitive. Like,
right. Not a game.
It's just more like just up to pass the time or whatever. But it's just something about this Blue Lock, bro. It's just so good. You should watch it.
I'll check it out. Do I have but you have that affinity towards soccer. Like, will I have the same experience with the show?
I don't know. It could be a test. Check it out and let me know.
I should check it out.
At least watch episode 1 and then just because I was hooked by episode 1.
Yeah, probably.
I was hooked. I wanted to see episode 2 and then from there I was like, yo, I'm hooked. They got me. Shit, I'm like, every episode, take my money. If I have to pay for the next episode, fuck it, take my money, bro.
Okay.
But I'm even thinking about buying the manga. Like, I'm like, should I even buy it? Because they're already ahead. They're almost close to the end. Again, manga readers already know what's fully going on, and I'm over here behind because I like watching the anime.
You're locked out, bro.
Yeah, I like watching the anime, but I was even thinking about like picking up the books. I'm like, maybe I should pick up the books because this is how much I'm really enjoying it. That it's like, should I?
Sounds good.
How about you, bro?
So for me, reading. So I'm reading Chainsaw Man. I'm still, interspersing like some One Piece and my Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone is actually coming back in April. Mm-hmm. So I think I might slow down on the Dr. Stone and kind of like...
the new season, right?
Yeah, I might enjoy it with the anime, but just been keeping up on Chainsaw Man.
Have you reading it or watching it?
Reading it. I'm like fully caught up. So it's getting pretty good.
What do you mean fully caught up?
I'm fully caught up with like the newest issue.
Oh, shit. So you're ahead of me.
Yeah.
You probably know more than me because I haven't read the books, but I've been watching the anime, and we're only like through season 1.
Yeah.
So we're like way behind because I know there's way much more.
Yeah.
Like his final transformation.
Yeah.
yeah. We're nowhere near that in the anime. But I've seen like videos on that, and they talk about the final, like his final transformation, the final fight. And there's even more after that. After Machina, I think that's her name, right?
Yep.
After her death, there's even more.
Spoiler, bro. Spoiler, goddamn.
Well, who am I spoiling? Again, manga readers are gonna be like, bro, you ain't spoiling nobody.
I know, right? I guess you're spoiling.
Sub and dubs.
You're spoiling yourself.
No, I'm not. But that's the thing. Like, I haven't read the mangas, but like, there's enough on the internet that you can't even.
You gotta stay away, bro.
You can't even stay away. You can't even stay away, man. Like right off the bat, there's like a fucking clip that says, Chasew's final transformation, and you're like.
I know.
And they're already showing a picture of it with a fucking scarf. And you're like, what the fuck is that? So you click on the video and then you've seen it up.
No, you shouldn't have clicked. You should have clicked.
But that's just...
you should have clicked.
It's in front of you, bro. You want to know. You're like... It's like when they're like so far ahead with the Dragon Ball Super...
Right, about like manga and stuff like that. Yeah, so I've seen... Okay, so
you see kind of like clips and since like... I know it hasn't came out yet in the animation, right? But in the manga, they're already done with the next arc, and you're just like, oh, Goku, and then Vegeta's new form,
right?
Which I think we talked about a little bit, but again, I don't want to say it because then I want Xavier to be like, spoiler alert, bro.
Yes, bro, because come on, goddamn. Like, what's the point? You gotta enjoy it, man. Enjoy it.
But how are you enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it. I like
the manga.
Yes.
Okay, well then you're ahead of me, and I feel like I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like maybe I need to stop watching animation and just fucking pick up the book and read it.
Well, because you can get through it quicker in the manga, but just like Demon Slayer or
Demon Slayer is done,
but in the reverse,
in
like
the
of
manga.
Chainsaw Man. It's not better in the anime, but you get it differently in the anime. So I waited for Chainsaw Man for the anime.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, this is going to be like a really gross and beautiful anime. So I'm going to watch it. And then it let me down. So then I just fucking did the manga.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, if I'm not going to watch the anime, I'm definitely going to read the manga. You know, I'm just caught up at, and it is pretty good. But like for me, it's also the story.
Yeah.
It's just really good overall. Playing, so I said earlier that we were playing The Last of Us, so we're playing that for family movie night, kind of like because we're almost done with the Avengers movies. Well, I think we have 2 more left. We have to do Captain Marvel and then the last Avengers Endgame.
Okay,
because my first son, his first time watching all these movies like this back to back. So we do it like once a week or whatever. But he was talking about watching The Last of Us. We're just playing it. And then Resident Evil came out with a new demo. Resident Evil, it's actually called the Chainsaw Demo.
Oh.
I played it. It's for Resident Evil 4. It's pretty dope. It's pretty fire. I'm just going to, after we're done with The Last of Us, I might play Resident Evil 2 again. And then I might get Resident Evil 4. Or I might even, like how you said, Dead Space. You heard it was really good. So I might get that. It's the same cost as Resident Evil 4. I'm just trying to save myself $50. To not, by playing a game I already have.
Yeah.
So, and then as far as watching, so South Park came back, so I've been watching that, and then I've been getting into stand-ups again because like a bunch of stand-ups came out.
Let me ask you this: how does South Park still stay active?
What do you mean, like relevant or
no? Not relevant. They're relevant because they talk about relevant shit, just like The Simpsons, but just. We all know how racist and crazy South Park really is. My question is, how does it still stay on air, knowing how sensitive the world has become?
South Park just has like a sauce that nobody has. And what it is so they don't really take a side either, which I think is like a big part of it. They let you decide who's right and who's wrong. And then at the end, they kind of like always wrap up each episode with this is what we learned along the way. This is why you should or shouldn't say this, or this is why these people believe this and why you need to be nice to these people. And, I think on surface value, a lot of people are put off at South Park because they do a lot of jokes about like, just gross things and races, not even just like visually, even though it is like a lot of visual gags. They say a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah.
But they just do it in a way
That it's okay.
that's so clever. It's just so clever that, you know, the people.
I'm just surprised, man, because
The people who get mad at it aren't really watching. They're not really paying attention. So I think that's what it is. So there's enough people who have a lot of respect for South Park that they kind of defend, because, you know, there's with everything, you're gonna have haters or whatever. So I'm not saying that, you know, if you don't like South Park, you're a hater, because I think there is like a case to be made where South Park sometimes takes the easy route as far as like, or even like the safe route by not picking a side. You're kind of just staying on the fence, but then you're allowed to say all these kind of crazy things just because, you know, you're not really like saying what is right or wrong.
No, that's all I'm saying, because I've heard people say lesser shit and get canceled.
Right. Definitely.
For lesser things. And when I think about South Park, and I'm like, yo, South Park does some real crazy shit, and they say some real crazy shit.
That's true.
So the fact that they've never gotten canceled, I'm like, is there...
There was a season where they were petitioning to cancel themselves to see how far they could push it before they got canceled, and they just didn't get canceled. They're just. I think at this point they're actually just too big.
Too big to get canceled.
Yeah, because
well known.
They don't really do like risque stuff in like Rick and Morty or in like even
I
like
feel
new
like
Simpsons, but
they're well known in the sense of like they've been doing this forever. They've been doing this for before everybody's become sensitive. So the fact that
they were sensitive back then, bro, like that, you know,
they were still sensitive back, but this is what they're known for.
It wasn't as like on the internet like
this
how
is
it is.
what, as I'm saying, this is what they're known for. They're known to talk about shit that people talk about in their heads or maybe talk in private, but not
at the dinner table,
but don't have the balls to say it out loud. Does that make sense? Like they talk about subjects that nobody really wants to talk about, but it has to be said or it has to be presented in some type of way.
They talk about extremes,
extreme shit.
Because what is, you know, lost is like nuance. So there is not a lot of talk about nuance when you're talking about like race or religion or, you know, just any kind of like disparity between two groups of people, left and right, up and down, black and white. Usually,
gray zone.
Usually you have to like take a side because somebody, you know, on the other side might have their own extreme belief that just conflicts with yours.
No, of course.
Even if yours is in the gray. So, or they might even be like, well, how could you think that that's light gray? You know, it should be white. Or how can you think that that's dark gray? It should be black. Yeah. So that's, you know, I just really like South Park. It is just super funny. And I'm glad that it came back.
You have a dark humor, bro.
Yeah, I do.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that shit. So, no, I do, bro. I love people with fucking dark humor. I feel like humor is humor. Have you seen the Netflix special for Chris Rock?
Not yet. It's on my list. So like I said, they came out with like a crazy amount of stand-up. Because I think even Marlon Wayans.
No, he's on HBO.
He was on HBO, but he came out with a stand-up. So, but like all these people came out with like stand-ups like recently. So one day I just put them all on my list, and that's what I've been getting into.
Yeah, but this is
the most recent one I saw was like Patton Oswalt, which was, you know, straight or whatever. But I just love stand up. I don't have to like, it doesn't have to. I know we talked in the last episode, like I like stuff that I identify with, but humor is something that I identify with 100%. So
I identify with humor 100%. If it's light or even heavy.
Right.
And there's a part in Chris Rock's performance where he kind of wants to start off by saying like, don't get me canceled. Like, don't get me canceled because of the stuff I'm going to say. And I feel like that
I've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like that sucks that we're getting to that age where even comedians, like, this is their job. You know what I mean? This is their job. And it's like comedians are now have to be a little bit more wary about the things they're about to say on stage or the subjects that they're about to present. And I feel like that sucks because I don't want comedians to feel that way. I want them, like, the whole point.
You don't want to have them to start off their joke with, I'm not racist.
I'm not racist, or I don't mean to offend, or I don't mean to, you know, blah, blah, blah. Or I'm not here to make fun of anybody, blah, 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 whatever. Like, no, like, I want to watch you come up stage and do your thing. And that's the thing, like, humor comes in so many ways. And the thing is what's so beautiful about humor is that if you don't like a certain joke or if you don't like a certain comedian, none of these jokes or what they're saying is being pushed down through people's throats. and this is what I've always said, like, if you don't like the way Chris Rock makes certain jokes, and there's even other comedians that go a little bit harder, like Chappelle,
Daniel Tosh,
or Daniel Tosh, those jokes. Like, if you don't like that type of joke, that heaviness or that dark humor, then you don't have to listen to it. Nobody's forcing you to watch these comedians. Nobody's shoving these fucking jokes down your throat. Like, nobody's making you sit in front of a screen and making you watch it. If you don't like it, then it's just not you. Like I said, there's always something for everybody. And if that something is not for you, then just because it's not for you, don't criticize it. Like, don't be like, oh my God, that needs to be taken off. That joke was so gruesome. Because there's another guy that really found it funny. And he just saw it as a joke. He didn't felt like, oh my God, Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock or Daniel Tosh or whoever is so fucking racist. Nah, you just making a racial joke. Like, you don't hear that shit in the office. Like, you don't hear that shit around your life. Like, you're going to hear it either way. And sometimes you even joke about it or laugh about it, but it doesn't make you racist. You know what I mean? Or it doesn't make you hate a certain community or certain religion because you make fun of it. You just make fun of it. It's a joke. And they're there to tell jokes. Yeah. Now, if you're not into it, then don't watch it. That's just my thing, man. Just don't watch it if you're not into it. I can't force you.
You're not down with cancel culture?
Cancel culture? What is
cancel
that?
Culture, like cancel problematic people.
Nah, man.
Take their job away. Take them off their platform.
For what? That's just them.
I agree.
If you don't like it, you don't have to watch them. Again, like, I think this is a very simple fix. You don't like it, don't watch it. Don't listen to it. Move on with your day.
Change the channel.
Change the channel. Move on with your day. Like, it's not interrupting your life, is it? Is it stopping you from making money because he made that joke? Is it stopping you from breathing, from your heart, pumping? Because
maybe
he said,
if it's funny enough,
maybe but if you find it funny, then what's the problem? That's the whole point. Like, he's a comedian. That's just my thought process on things like that. But I just feel like there's certain things that people get away with, and then there's certain things that people get canceled, and it's like, there's certain shit on national TV that your kids can watch if it's not, parental control, but kids can watch. But a comedian can't say a certain thing, or somebody can say a certain thing without getting canceled, even though there's even harsher shit on TV.
Right.
That's just, I don't know. That's just me. But anyways, let's wrap it up, right?
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Like always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to us. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend.
Yes. How do you feel about like if people leave reviews, like positive reviews on like different sites? We'll read those out.
I don't bro. I don't even care. To me, positive or negative, a review is a review.
I want positive reviews.
Don't leave any one-star reviews on our shit, I know, bro. Like I sometimes even feel like
comments can be negative comments, but reviews. I've heard let's get a good review.
No, I want to. No, I mean,
if you leave a 5-star review, we'll read it out.
Goal, we want positive reviews, of course.
Right.
But where do we learn from that? How do we? How
awesome we are.
No, one thing for me is I've always learned that negative is always good, because if you're great at everything you do, then you would never be improving on. Like if Michael Jordan was great at basketball all the time,
he was,
but he was only great because of the failures that he had to gain, where he had to stay, you fail in order to succeed even harder.
Okay.
So how can we be the greatest anime podcast to ever exist?
Right.
How are we going to be a staple in everybody's household where people are like, oh, the norm? Oh, fuck. Everybody knows that podcast. How are we going to be the number one in Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and Google's list?
With 5-star reviews.
With 5 stars.
That's how it is.
All right, with 5 stars reviews, but not every podcast has 5 stars reviews. Everybody has a 4.3.
Nah,
it's close to a 5.
Ours is 5 right now.
Yeah. How many people have
that doesn't matter, bro. We'll just say
want to keep it that way.
We'll just say it's a handful of people.
You just want to keep it that way.
We have 5-star reviews.
I like the negativity.
Any reviews that come after today?
How about this? Let's compromise. Guys, the normies, put a 5-star review, write positive shit for Xavier, and then write just a little like semi-negative quote, like maybe, but if they could improve in this, but I still love their podcast.
We'll do it like, how about a compliment sandwich?
There you go.
So
yeah,
positive, a negative, and then a positive,
and then end it with a positive, just so that Xavier doesn't. But always put 5 stars.
5 stars,
even if it's tiny positive, huge negative. Send me a little positive.
A sloppy Joe on
a
sloppy
bread. Joe. Yeah, but it's still 5-star review.
Yes,
there you go.
Definitely.
That was funny. But yeah, like I said, subscribe. We're on TikTok. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're always constantly posting. We did start this new thing where we go live on Instagram before we start recording. So, we're always going to let you guys know the day that we're going to record, at what time, so you guys can be posted, hop on, come talk to us. Like we talked a little bit about something that we never mentioned on the podcast,
right? That
the people that saw us on Instagram Live got to adventure, which was how me and Xavier met, which you kind of missed out on that part.
We'll talk about it the next Instagram Live.
We'll think about it. You have to be there in order. So we might even talk a little bit about our personal lives on IG. I'm not trying to go too descriptive, but we might bring something up like that. And always check out our websites, thenorm.com, thenormn.com. That's where we have our merch. Like I said, we're always repping something from our merch on every episode. So he right now has our hoodie. It's pretty dope. Like always, that help us out. Also, that helps us with the channel too. Like we're trying to invest more into this, buy more props, buy more things, and that's only possible if you guys help us out. So, and like I said, every watch, every view, every click, every like, every follow, every share, we appreciate it. So thank you so much. And then for our, general listeners, the people that keep coming back for more, we appreciate you guys. We really do. So you can find us on almost every platform. And that's pretty much all I got to say on this end of the episode. So like we say at the end of every episode,
tune in next time for scenes from the next episode of the Hyperbolic Podcast, where Lewis and X talk about the Kendrick Lamar of anime, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba.
All right, man. And we're out. Muchas gracias.